Welcome back, and in this video we're going to be talking about Zapier's Zaps, which are their automated workflows. For example, a Zap is going to need a trigger. So maybe someone sends you an email, that's the trigger. That's what's going to cause something to happen. So if you've ever worked with Power Automate before, if you've taken my Power Platform course with Power Apps and SharePoint and Power Automate, it's the same kind of thing. It's where you have a trigger, so something happens, and then once that trigger goes off and once that thing happens, then something else happens. If one thing happens, you make something else happen. That's essentially what Zaps are. They're automated workflows, and these workflows can have multiple steps. So for example, if we go to one of the Zaps I made, it's very straightforward. It's just an automation that says, when a new message is posted in this Discord channel, send a DM or a direct message to the person whose name is mentioned in this. So if I click on this, it's monitoring this welcome channel. And actually, let me edit it so I can actually look at the back end of it. But when I click on this trigger, essentially what we're looking at is a few different screens. And before we get into exactly how to do everything from scratch, I just want to kind of show you this specific example. So I have a setup screen, and I have a configure, and then I have a test. The setup screen is just where you're gonna do your initial setup with the trigger. So I'm connected to my Discord account, which allows me to use these Discord zaps. And the trigger event in this case is a new message posted to a specific channel. And then once I click continue, it's gonna look at this welcome channel. So whenever a new message is posted to this welcome channel, then do something. Now you could do different tests, and this is when people join the Discord server. So it's just referring to these records. I could find new records to see new members that join the Discord, and we can see that we have 3 new records. So I'm going to close out of that, and it says send direct message. So if I click on this and go to my setup for that, we can see that I'm again connected to my Discord account. It says the action event is send Discord message. If I go to configure, it's looking at which user to mention, and then this is the message that gets sent to the user. So if I delete this, I can enter a dynamic value by hitting the slash, and then we can see different content here. So what's being grabbed here is it's a message posted by Carl GG or Carlbot, and then it tags the user saying welcome. And actually, let me go open my Discord right now so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is my Discord server, and whenever someone joins the Discord server, they get tagged by this Carlbot. So anyways, this is the channel that I was monitoring here. And whenever someone joined, I would have my Zapier automation look at the message or look at the user that was tagged in this message. So we have this user here that was tagged. So if my Zapier automation was active at the time, it would tag or it would DM this user whatever the message was that I set. So it'd look at the ID that was mentioned and then pull that into its next step. So if I type in mentions, oops, let me just delete that. And if I type mentions ID again, then we can see it's automatically going to reach out to the ID that was mentioned. Now this is going to be dynamic. So even though it says a specific ID of a user, whenever a new user joins, this Zap will treat it as if that's the user they're DMing. So every time there's a new user that joins and Carlbot tags them, it'll reach out. Now there is a way to reach out to new users that join, but for some reason when I was testing that out, it was not grabbing new members. It was grabbing members that have been here for a long time. So that way did not work for me, but maybe you can get it to work. But for me, it was kind of glitching out. All right, so let's head back into Zaps. Let me just click this up here and let's click on create. You can click create over here or create on the left-hand side. So we are given the option to utilize Copilot. Now with Copilot, I could just say, can you create me an automation that's DMs new users who join my Discord server. And then once I send this, it should be able to give me the correct triggers and actions. I may have to modify a few things, but we'll see. It should give me close enough. Now, this is just one way to do it. We'll also go through and of course add these triggers and actions in mainly. I just want to show you that you can use Copilot to help you out. So all I have to do is click on these plus icons here, and it's going to automatically add these trigger and action, I guess, items. And we can see all I have to do is reconnect my account and I should be able to configure these. So that is one way to do it. We could do that. But if we want to actually learn the platform, we should probably delete these and actually set it up from scratch. So if you notice, if you click on the menu here, you can't delete it. So once you add a trigger, you can then not remove it. But what you can do is click on the trigger, go to setup, and you can change the app here, or you can change the trigger event. Now I'm going to keep Discord because that's what I'm interested in using. And if anyone else here is familiar with Discord, maybe you could find this useful for your Discord server. So I'm going to leave it as new user added. And this is the trigger that it was having issues with last time I tried this. But for the sake of video, let's just run through and test it out. So I have my Discord account linked. I'm going to click continue and let's click on test. All right, so it says it has a few records here. They're all pulled on July 24th, but all the user records here are users who have joined earlier, and these are not really any of the latest members to join the Discord server. So we'll try to find new records and see if we get anybody else, but I believe it's just going to keep giving me the same users that have joined a long time ago. Okay, yeah, I went through a few records and it's just users who have joined a while ago. So just for testing purposes, we'll just continue with this user, and now we're going to add our first action actually onto our workflow. So once a new user joins the Discord, we are then going to add a Discord action that says DM this user, or DM whatever user is the newest user to join the Discord. I'm going to click on continue here. I don't have to change anything else. The app we're using is Discord. The action event we're using is send direct message, and my account is already linked. So I'm going to click on continue. And then if we want to add in a specific user or specific step, we can manually select a user if we want. We can do enter a custom value. For field mapping, we can type in a / and then we can look at new user added in Discord. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to click on ID, go through this, click ID. There we go. And we'll just say test. I'm going to say false to pinging username role and everyone mentions. And I'm also going to do false to text to speech. Let's click continue. And I'm going to skip the test just because I don't want to DM this random user. They'll be pretty surprised if they see this. So let's click publish. And then I'm going to go join the Discord server on one of my other Discord accounts and see if it gets a DM. So let's test that out. Okay, so I joined the Discord on an alt account and it never got a DM. It actually got a DM from my other automation, but not the one we just set up. So it does look like with this setting, or at least with this new user added trigger, it's not able to correctly grab the new user who joined the Discord. It just runs whenever a new user joins the Discord, but then it's just defaulting to one user, not even the correct user. So we want to fix that so this one specific user doesn't keep getting DMs. Let's take care of that. Okay, so new user added we want to get rid of and actually change this trigger event. So we're going to say when a new message is posted to channel, and we're going to rely on Carlbot because Carlbot is actually posting the user ID who's joining the Discord server. So let's head back. Also, I'll enable streamer mode just in case someone tries to DM me. All right, let's go back. All right, so new message posted to channel. We're going to grab the channel here. Let's actually refresh results. Let's grab our welcome channel and then let's click on continue and we'll just test it just because it's going to force us to test it. Find new records. All right, let's click one of these records. And this is the user that just joined. So we're going to continue. So that already tells us we're off to a good start. All right, so send direct message now. We're not going to change anything else, right? But in the configure step, we need to enter a user ID. So if I type in this /, we're going to head down to the different contents that are offered in this trigger. So, and we can select what we want to pull from it. So we want to grab a user ID, and the mentions ID is exactly what we want to grab here. As mentioned before, Carl GG is tagging the users when they join. So that's how we're getting our user ID. Let's click on the X here and we'll send the sample message just called test. Let's click continue and we will skip this test just because I want to share the results and I don't want you to see multiple messages. So I'm going to say 2.0. Let's publish this. It says cannot publish Zap. You should try reconnecting. I am connected, so I'm just going to continue. And let's try to publish again, 2.0. And there we go. All right, so it's published. Now we're going to try to rejoin the Discord off of our other account. Now, if this DM doesn't come through, then something must be incorrect. All right, so we just got a DM. Let's check it out. And there we go. Okay, so again, as I mentioned, I have two different zaps. So one of the zaps is saying this message here, but then the zap that we just published is saying the message here, where it's just the word test. So just like that, we were able to send a message to a new user joining the Discord server. So that was a very straightforward workflow as well. And if we go to our run history, we can see that we have one successful run at 8:06 p.m. And just like that, we made our first zap. It was something pretty straightforward. All right, so we made our first zap with Discord, and now we're gonna move into another zap. So again, there's a lot of options you can do. There's so many different applications that you can pull from in Zapier. It says there's over 7,000 apps and tools. So again, anything that you can think of, it's most likely in Zapier, and you could throw it in here and run a little workflow off it. So I'll see you in the next video where we'll play around with some other apps.